All right, we're here at the Free Your Mind Conference, April 27, 2013, with Curtis Davis. Welcome.
How you doing, guys?
And you just gave a presentation the other day. Could you give us a brief overview of some of the things that you were talking about in terms of how we free our mind?
Well, basically, how we, according to my research, one of the best ways to free your mind is how I did it was I studied the works of Dr. Nathaniel Branden and Dr. Connie Zweig, and the way I would suggest that we can begin to free our minds is go within. The sentence completion technique that I learned from Dr. Nathaniel Branden. For example, one of the things that mind control does to us is to make us instill fear in us, which leads to powerlessness, which leads to passivity. So doing the sentence completion technique, you would write stems like, feeling powerless makes me feel, I react to fear by, and you write 6 to 10 endings or more, and you don't think, you just write. Because if you think, then you inhibit the process. Now, from Dr. Connie Zweig, I learned that with shadow work, which is based on Jungian psychology, and we have to face that part of ourselves that we've been programmed away from, that dark side, if you will. I prefer to use shadow because when people hear dark, they get scared, but face that part of ourselves that we have been programmed away from. In other words, we've been taught to just seek the light. Okay, seek the light, stay away from the darkness. But what I've learned in my studies is that the darkness is where the most profound lessons are learned, and it's that part of us that we need in order to really evolve. Our warrior side, that side of us that wants to resist, our perceived oppressors. So when we get in touch with that side of ourselves, and we go within, because when we look at the outside oppressors, these are people that we've created. Okay, we feed their energy. So once we begin to turn away from what they're doing and how they're doing it, and we look within, then the outside forces will automatically dissipate.
So we have to look at the light with the dark and face the truth about the nature of duality in all things. Absolutely,
absolutely. Because as long as you just seek the light and you don't look into the darkness, then you can never truly feel whole. I mean, let's look at, if we put on our Christian hats here for a minute, God created everything and everyone, but he also created Lucifer, and Lucifer is the light bringer. So how bad a guy can he be if he's bringing light, the light of knowledge, the light of understanding? And when I thought about this and I meditated about it over the years, I realized that Satan is nothing more than God's shadow side, because God wanted to experience all things. God wanted to experience what it would be like to give life, but also what it is to take life. So even when we look at something that society would consider a calamity, okay, that's still God in action. And I've since learned as well, being an occultist, that the Bible is the best occult book ever written. They're not going to tell us that. Okay, so basically what they've been doing all along is hiding the secrets in plain sight.
I've heard that church takes place on Sunday because it stems from a Roman tradition of worshiping Apollo, which they believe to be a sun god, and that the real day of the Sabbath is Saturday. Do you know anything about this?
Vaguely, and a lot of that stuff was taken from the Egyptian mysteries, okay, and when they say that God rested on the 7th day, it's because for the first 6 days, everything was already created. So now when we visualize, okay, we're not creating anything, we're just manifesting it, because we exist on many levels. We don't just exist here in the earth realm. All possibilities, okay? That's why there's nothing that you can't imagine, okay? Because everything that you could think of has already been created, because there is no past, there is no present, there's only the now, okay? So now, when they say in the Bible that God rested on the 7th day, basically because God had nothing else to do. I've created everything, I've done everything, so now I'm just going to chill out for a little while, okay? So now once again, even with the sun, as you referred to, okay, even that's been bastardized to the masses, you know, because it represents the Son of God, talking about the actual physical sun in the sky. And that's what, when people say that certain cults or certain societies worship the sun, they weren't worshiping the physical sun. They were worshiping what the sun represented. That's all that is.
What else did you get into in your lecture? I'm curious about how we can mindfully put our minds together collectively to start manifesting things for the positive.
Excellent. Well, I also studied the work of Neville Goddard, okay, and what I learned from Neville Goddard was we give away our power when we look at a God or a Satan as something that's outside of us. Okay, nothing is outside of you. Everything is internal. Okay, so now when we look at our external reality, it's holographic. That's just us externalized. Okay, so now how do we go about changing the society? How do we go about changing the world? We don't do it by Occupy movements. We don't do it by taking up arms and marching on City Hall. We basically go in and touch that part of ourselves, the I am within us, and we visualize with feeling and emotion that which we want to see in our external reality. So now it's very powerful when one person does it, but when you get a collection of people who are all on one accord, visualizing the same thing, then that's what brings about change.
Wow. I noticed there's a lot of people talking about this presentation. It's very synchronistic. It's
yes.
as if you kind of came here with a similar message, but we came to what we believe through our own independent investigations in this matrix. But it all kind of leads to the same road.
Exactly, because we're all connected.
Right.
We're all connected. You know, we've been programmed to believe that we're all separate, but we're all connected. You know, I'm you, you're me. Okay, so that's why when you look at the speakers here at the Free Your Mind conference, that's why you can listen to 24 speakers and hear, well, Alex just said what Curtis just said, and Curtis just said what Larkin Rose just said, you know, and so on and so forth. So that right there proves that we are all connected. It's all synchronicity.
Anything else you want to add? We're at about 7 minutes. That was pretty good.
What I would like to add is that don't focus so much on the external, on what the Illuminati's doing.
Like the physical realm.
Exactly.
See beyond the 5 senses.
Precisely. You know, because if you just stick to your 5 senses, then you will limit yourself. Because this body that we're in right now, it's just a tool that we need to operate within this earth realm. Okay, this is not us. Okay, imagination is the true reality. Okay, this is just holographic. This is just, when we look on the outside, we're just looking at what we've been deeply holding in our minds. Okay, so now in order to change that, we have to go within, you know, in order to affect the external, not the other way around. So that's what I would like to leave people with.
All right.